Welcome for all my Cancers. I'm talking to you, and you. Thank you for tuning in. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with a very special reading on today. We have 4 planets that's retrograde right now. Plus, we are moving towards a new moon in 3 days. Cancers, are you all ready? You excited for this new moon energy? I hope so. We're going to talk about not repeating cycles, right? Let's get right into it because I'm getting the feeling that somebody's been thinking about you. This is what I'm getting. As soon as I start shuffling the cards, I'm like, okay, who is in Cancer's energy space? Like, who is... Okay, let's get into it. Most High God in the universe, please give me a special reading for my wonderful Cancers as it relates to every area of their lives, specifically in areas of power and intellect, money and wealth, creativity and emotions, and spirituality, and where they need to take action. What information do we have for my wonderful Cancers? Yes, my Cancers who are very sympathetic, emotional in a good way, persuasive, loyal, highly imaginative, tenacious, charming. They don't hold back their emotions, loves to give their best, empathetic, and sweethearts. Yes. Your symbol is the crab. Yes, yes, yes. You have that den mother energy. You're very magnetic. People are drawn to your energy. Right. Yes. But don't let people get your emotions out of sorts. Yes. Yeah. And you all are great lie detectors, which is great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love it, love it, love it. All right, here we go. Look at this, Cancer. Look, I want to show you all something. So like I said, we have 4 planets that's retrograde. This is what the universe is trying to release to you. It's trying to release more money to you, Cancers, okay? But I need you all to pay attention, like really, really pay attention to this. So that's the 6 of Pentacles. Then we have the Fool card, which is full and upright, which is Uranus, which is not retrograde. It's Aquarius is ruling a planet. One of Aquarius ruling planet. The other one is Saturn. We have the 7 of Pentacles. We also have the 7 of Swords. We also have the 5 of Swords. And we have the Queen of Swords. So some of you all may have Aquarius in your chart, right? And so this is a brand new start for you all, where you are learning how to balance out your energy. Somebody has really, really, really been thinking about you, right, Aquarius? Right, Cancer. I could be an Aquarius thinking about you. But again, this is where, when you think about them, the characteristics that you mostly think about when you think about them is, yeah, you may give them, credit for being, open-minded, humanitarians, extremely smart, the whole 9 yards. But something else that you think about them is that they're impulsive, that they are unpredictable, that they're inconsistent. They have very extremist views, right? That they're also very stubborn, right? And so and that's something that you had to discover about them. It's like you had an encounter with somebody. You had an encounter with the person, and for some reason they were just like really, really heavy on your spirit. Like you just couldn't stop thinking about them. Like, what is it about them that I'm so attracted to? And then that kind of prompted you to, you know what, let me start doing some digging. Let me start finding out what these signs are about. Like, let's get more into that side of myself, because you all are empaths. You all are highly intuitive anyway. Like I said, lie detectors. Let me get into figuring out what this sign is about, what these divine masculine signs are about, right? Because it helped you to tap into other parts in your spiritual house about yourself. Like I said, a lot of you all could have Aquarius in your chart, right? And so you started to go into some other rooms in your spiritual house, Cancer. So not only are you a Cancer, your sun sign is a Cancer, right? But now you're going into your moon sign room. You're going into your other placements, moon, rising, Venus. You're going into the other rooms in your house, your spiritual house, to find out, how can I connect with that part of myself so that I can better understand other signs. This is like you're doing the spiritual work, like really, really working on yourself, right? Not only that, you're also learning how to balance out your sacral chakra, right? So we know that the sacral chakra is located at the center of your pelvis area, and it's associated with the element of water and your sense of taste. And so it's right there where your pelvic bowl is, like right up to your navel, including your reproductive organs. Like, what is it that's where your passion lies? Where am I, why do I feel so much passion for this, it's like, why was it so much of a passion between me and this energy, right? But it also felt like it put me in a very hostile energy place. Like, it just seemed like we just were like oil and water in the relationship. Like, like you are connected to the person because, again, and like I said, the person may have Aquarius in their chart and you may have Aquarius in your chart, but whatever it is, that almost felt like you all were just like attracted to each other. But then when you get together, there was this like this static and like, what in the world is going on? I got to figure out that part, right? So you delve more into, let me learn that part of myself, right? And see exactly what I had to offer, because why am I so attracted to this energy, right? But being in this type of relationship will cause your sacral chakra to be either underactive or overactive. And what I mean by that, some of the signs is that it could be sexual rigidity, it could be fertility issues, genital problems, hip or joint problems. You can feel dehydrated. You can feel like you're resistant to change. You can feel sexual, it could be sexual promiscuity. It could be codependence, feeling like you're codependent in a relationship, lack of emotional control. You can even have bladder problems, right? All those things, being in a relationship with somebody where you just feel like, especially if you have this in your chart, if you have this in your chart and the other person is that sign, but you are out on different frequencies, right? So what I mean by that is being highly attracted to each other at first, initially thinking, okay, this person feels like they're the yin to my yang, or that I'm divine feminine and they're my divine divine masculine counterpart, and it feels like together we could just take on the whole world. I just feel more powerful, right? But when you learn how to tap more into that part of yourself, that's when you understood exactly the power that you have. It's a beautiful thing when you can go into all the different rooms of your spiritual house and tap into the higher vibration of each sign that's in your birth chart or your natal chart. It's amazing. It feels like you can literally fly. That's what it feels like. So you've become a lot more tapping into the Aquarius in you, especially and we're in the age of Aquarius, feeling like, okay, feeling more powerful. You're tapping into the higher frequencies or higher vibrations of the Aquarius in you, Cancer. So that would be becoming more open-minded, someone who is a humanitarian, very creative, free-spirited, intellectual, which you already are, very powerful, very friendly, very unique, very independent, original, very progressive. Like, they are an air sign and you are a water sign, right? And it's like, have you ever seen that line where the sea and the air meets? It almost feels like the clouds are hanging in the sky, like by a thread that you can't see. It's like, it's just beautiful. That's where it's just like, for you, everything came together beautifully for you. The air and the water came together beautifully for you. Like, you are completely balanced out. Like, you're not out of balance where you feel like you've evaporated, like you're just over or under nurturing. You know what I mean, Cancer? So when you balance out your energy, you realize, hey, me and that person may not have been on the same frequency, and there's some things in them that they need to balance out themselves so that they can see the beauty in themselves, right? But what it translates to in the natural sense is them being secretive, manipulative, all sorts of things, right? But all of that will be exposed. But also, even when it is exposed, and that could have been making them hostile, right? It could have even made you feel like, contaminated you with the hostility as well. But all of that experience that you had with that person actually created this person right here. right? It's almost like I can't live with them, but I can't live without them. But now I'm learning to live without them, and I'm learning to live more with me, right? And so when you tap into that side of yourselves and you start to break out of that shell, that crab shell, and start to be more, your energy is directed more outward because you're tapped into your divine masculine energy. That's when you know that you've done the work, and that's where it's going to show in your money. That's where it's going to show. It's going to show in your money because you've done the energy work, right? So you're no longer necessarily seeing them as being seeing them as a bad person per se. You're more or less showing like compassion, like, wow, if only they can see in them what I see in them, because I've done the energy work. If they can see themselves at a higher frequency, like I now see that part of myself is in the higher frequency, they be living this kind of life, grabbing their amethyst, seeing things at a God level of clarity, just kind of feeling free, right? Because that's where you're feeling. You feel a sense of freedom right now. That's where you are, right? So that's what it talks about, the waning gibbous moon that we're in right now, moving towards this new moon. This new moon is a new you, right? A new perspective on things, putting those emotions, balancing out those emotions because you've tapped into that side of yourselves. So there's a lot of people who have been thinking about you in the spirit realm, maybe even physically trying to come back to you, but your feeling about them is not of frustration or even getting moody or, or anything low vibrational at all. You don't even feel suspicious. It just is what it is. You've allowed it to fall out of your spiritual realm. You've decluttered. That's Pluto being retrograde right now, because Pluto encourages us to declutter while it's retrograde. And then also, you're also focusing on your money. You're focusing on your career, because that's Saturn, which is retrograde, which is one of Aquarius's ruling planets. So you're focusing on your money. You're getting a lot more serious about your dollars, your coins, right? Because you've been putting that energy work in. Plus we have Neptune that's retrograde, so that's encouraging everybody to go after their dreams. So that's another thing that you're doing. And then then we have Jupiter that's retrograde. You may have put some projects down for a minute, and now you pick those projects back up. So Cancer, let's continue going. So here's your legacy wealth, which is nice. That's what you're focusing on, is now your legacy wealth. What do I want to leave my kids, my grandkids, kids that will never meet me in this realm? And so those feelings that you had maybe for someone who had Aquarius in their chart, that you may have once saw them as being manipulative or this or that, now you have compassion for them. You don't want them back. You just have compassion for them. You're allowing that feeling to fall out of range. It's no longer a tricky situation. You've allowed it to fall out of range, and you're moving on, right? You're starting to see that part in yourself. You're like, you know what? I get it. I understand. Now I see how out of balance they are. But you're not even talking negatively about them. You're just like, it just is what it is, right? And so you're moving on from that. You're not even afraid of your new chapter because you're taking your power back. Matter of fact, you're wiser. See this owl right here? You're wiser. You're more knowledgeable now. So you see things crystal clear, right? Why? Because a lot of things were at play to help you open up this vault door. When you were operating in third dimension way of thinking, all you were allowing your flesh to operate and say, oh my God, they're secretive, they're sneaky, they're this and they're that. And that's third dimension talk, right? But when you raise your frequency and you see things at a higher frequency, you see you held a level of compassion for them, right? That they are out of balance. And not only at this frequency, you even see through their past life. You see maybe they've had some childhood issues. Maybe you had some, but it's not enough for you to go backwards, because this is not the point of going backwards. I'm only going forward. I'm not going back. Right? When I was thinking third dimensionally and I was operating solely in my flesh, allowing my flesh to take over, yeah, I may have felt like I want to go back and help them, and then we get back into this hostile relationship again, but not anymore. I'm at a higher frequency, so I'm not going backwards. I have compassion for them, but there's nothing to go back to. That's a journey that they're going to have to save themselves, and I'm not interested in a codependent relationship, right? So here we have you opening up the vault to an enormous amount of money. When you were in the third dimension way of thinking, you had blindfolds on, right? You were just being led primarily through your passion, right? Through those desires. But once you remove these blindfolds on and you saw things clearly, you were like, okay, now I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I can see why we kept entering and exiting each other's lives. It's like, oh my God, the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but not anymore. Not anymore. Not only that, the person could be a totally different sign than just an Aquarius. They could have been affected by an Aquarius, right? And so remember, we're already all interconnected. So if the person that you're in a relationship with was affected by an Aquarius who may have been out of balance, it would have also affected you, right? And I speak very highly of Aquarians, just like I speak very highly of all signs, because I know what everybody looks like on their light side as well as their shadow side. So yeah. But nevertheless, now that you are completely balanced out your energy, some of you all really need to write a book. You've been journaling about it. It's probably time to write a book, because this is not a book of damaging or defaming anybody whatsoever. It's more or less like seeing things at a compassionate level, seeing things where it's like, I can see things for what it really is. You're not wishing any harm on anybody. You don't feel angry with anybody. You recognize what's actually happening in the universe. It's really not even changing your mood, other than to say, when I was operating in flesh, I saw them as this very horrible being. But now that I've raised my own frequency, I see them a lot differently. And the universe is rewarding you through your pockets, it's through your money, and it's also rewarding you with getting your power back and setting very firm and clear boundaries. So yes, if you're journaling, you probably want to start writing a book about it, because it'll be a very emotional book, and it's going to help deliver a lot of people from third dimensional way of thinking, Cancers. That is what I have for you. Have a fantastic day, Cancers. I know you will, because that's the intention you set. Yes. So this is a time where you want to move forward with little resistance as possible. This is where you're releasing all emotional baggage. You're going to continue doing your energy work through meditation and yoga. And then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about that lies ahead, which I actually see in the now. Lots of money for you and lots of power and emotional intellect. That's what I have for you, Cancers. Have a great one. Bye.